These are the parts of a 14-foot pop-up yurt. The main frame bundle. Here you can see tied into its transport mode with one tie. And there you can see the centre mechanism for the roof with its carbine clips waiting. Two lintel poles for the door frames and 4 door posts that make up the front and back door. A small section, a small rectangular section of carpet or rug. A stainless steel ring with a, in this case, yellow rope fixed in place ready for fitting into the centre of the yurt roof. A long outside diameter tension rope used to complete popping up the frame. 2 push poles, one longer and one medium-sized pole used for pushing the frame up and also for putting the canvas into place. A ground sheet, the tent pegs, guy ropes and other rubber straps. A yurt band made of canvas. A star canvas for the final waterproofing that goes over the roof. One large circular canvas roof and 2 wall canvases. Making up the yurt ready for assembly. Today I'm putting up a 14-foot diameter bamboo pop-up yurt in a building, as you can see. Now, in actual fact, it's easier to put a pop-up yurt on the grass. That's where it really belongs, because it slides around on the floor. But it's still going to be fine when it's up, and it's still going to be very, very strong. So, first things first. Stage 1. It's always useful to have available your small pieces of rug, which you can lie out on any surface. If you were on concrete, if you were on grass, you would need a little rug just to protect the delicate nature of the mechanism there. Okay, I'm going to pick up the yurt and quickly show you that when you're storing a pop-up yurt, it lies this way. But then when you put the yurt up, we need to turn over the yurt and put the mechanism on the floor. Like so. Now, when we open the yurt, we want to make sure that the door is situated in the correct location. So we look and we find here that we have our elastic rubber ties indicating the door opening there. So I'm now correctly set to pop the yurt open. I have to be careful at all times that I maintain good balance. But I undo this slip knot and allow the yurt to open with gravity until it forms its relaxed, unfolded shape. And I can now slide that and find the centre of my pitch. In this example, I'm aiming for the door to face you forward and the back door to face opposite and backwards. I'm now going to open up the front door This is important for a number of reasons, but most importantly, of course, it gives me access into the centre of the yurt. Now, as I've said earlier, I've got a selection of 6 or 7 short poles. There are 2 lintel poles, and these are the shortest of them all. So I retrieve 1 door lintel pole. Now, as you can see, there's a small area there being cut, and it's indicated in ink that it's the right hand side, and of course on the other side is an equal but opposite angle indicated by the left hand side. So what I need to do is to undo the black rubbers, which are set at the storage. Take each of those off, undo, so that I can pull the doors apart. Here we go. And as you can see, the rope slipped down there, but that's no concern. Using 2 cable rubber ties, I'm now going to check I've got my left hand side ready there. I introduce the grey rubbers for this point just to get it up and secured. The second lintel goes in place. And I'm now free to undo the floating pole, go over the top of the lintel pole and introduce the loop and fix it on there. So there's the door lintel. Here you can see the first door lintel in place, strapped over using a grey tie on the left hand side, with the free floating pole strapped onto the centre of the lintel, and the right hand side pole attached to the right hand wall. Is clipping on the yurt wheel. The yurt wheel can be made of steam bent wood, but in this particular model I'm using a stainless steel ring because of its true form and just the sheer packability and lightweight of it. And now that I have an open door, I can walk in and carefully lay the yurt wheel underneath and around the inner ring. Now I've got to make sure that the wheel is the right way round, and this is easily done by looking at the lugs, and you want the thread pointing upwards. This means that the lugs are pointing upwards at an angle towards the roof, and it also means that the visual aspect from inside shows you the smooth face of this bolt. Now it's always a good idea to sit straight in this, at this job. It's a very straightforward job, but it does need a nice straight back, and it helps you ensure that you don't slip over or hurt yourself by twisting manoeuvres. So do keep yourself straight. I begin by clipping the 2-ended loops that are fabricated on this rope onto the very first clip. I can then move round, 1 clip at a time, take the middle length of rope between each of the lugs and clip it on to the subsequent quick clip. And as you can see, shuffling around like this is causing me no discomfort. And I work my way round until I get to the very last. And on this yurt there are 6 points to the star. Now the last one is the tricky one, and what I need to do is to make sure that I've got all of the tensions upright. So I bring a little give from there, I'll bring a little give from here, and that allows me then to introduce the final clip. I now need to look at my work and just settle things down and get the lengths equal. It's now ready to pop up. So I'm going to walk into the centre of the yurt with the push pole, and I'm going to get hold of the stainless steel wheel in its outermost diameter, and I'm imagining that there is a tray of food on there that I don't wish to spill. So I've got to lift that up flat all the way until I can get the push pole underneath and secure the yurt in its relaxed, half-opened position. So here we go. I'm going to put my head actually straight between the poles, get the outside diameter and lift up. Bring the supporting push pole in and tripod that. And I'm going to introduce you to the tent band rope. This gives it its size, it fixes the diameter, and it also brings the yurt together, which of course pushes the roof upward. So I now need to fix this on, and I start off not right next to the door, but perhaps just one click back, and just temporarily I'll just loop that on there to keep it upright. Now it's important that I keep this rope in the upper quadrant of the wall frame. So as I go around, I deliver the rope, keeping some tension in it. As soon as I release that tension, the rope will slip and fall to the ground. So I need to avoid that. And there you see, I've kept tension, and I come right round to the beginning again. And with a bit of practice, you can hold that tension as you loop. Bit of practice, you can hold that tension as you draw the free rope through. And to that point. I'm now ready to put up the yurt. Now, I would recommend when you start using a yurt that two people do this activity. I'm going to show it to you on my own, but it's a nice idea to have your second person outside holding this rope and pulling it for you and tensioning it as you require it. But I can demonstrate its activity here. I've maintained that tension to keep this rope at the top quarter. I now push the yurt up and take the tension in. Take the tension in. Take the tension in. Now, when I get to a point like this, I can now remove my push pole, but I must in no way let go of the tension. So I carefully walk my way towards the yurt and pull tight until I get to the marker. Now here you can see a marker on the rope. It's not very visible, but there, that marker there indicates that the yurt is now set at 14 feet diameter. So this is a very simple slip knot to keep the tension there, allowing me to let go. I flap it over, I fold it over and pull it through the loop that I create. So a very straightforward half hitch, and then I give it a second hitch to make sure there's no slip. Now to complete this section, I just need to walk around and settle the yurt out and get a nice regular shape. Now I'm going to do that on this slippy floor by setting the walls, by setting the door, and I'm just going to catch that over to give that some kind of form, just to hold that door set at exactly the right width for the yurt. And I can now walk around the yurt, pull the tent band rope up to the top of the wall, all the way around. Now it's quite comfortable. I would actually do this a couple of times. I'm going to fix the opposite door lintel. So what I need to do is to undo the black rubbers, which are set at the storage. Take each of those off undo. So that I can pull the doors apart. Here they go. And as you can see, the rope slipped down there, but that's no concern. Using 2 cable rubber ties, I'm now going to check. I've got my left hand side ready there. I introduce the grey rubbers for this point just to get it up and secured. The second lintel goes in place. And I'm now free to undo the floating pole, go over the top of the lintel pole and introduce the loop and fix it on there. So there's the door lintel. I go behind and in front, and this will really set the roof height. You can now see how the roof height will result, because the door poles will give me that measure. There we are. And door pole, copy the exact same manoeuvre. Go behind the floor pole, go in front of the middle poles, push it in just with the wall height to suit. Over she goes. And there, my first wall is set. It's a good idea at this point, when you've settled down your yurt, to use the rubber ties. The rubber ties will give it extra security and tie each point in, making it very strong. A simple bow. And I do this at each junction, which makes a total of 6 rubber ties. A nice, regular, square shape, fixing in the middle, fixed at the top, fixed at the corner. Yurt band canvas. Now, before I've done that, I've just tidied the rope up, and as you can see here, I've just tied up the loose end of the yurt rope up so that it's out of the way. And this allows me then to start to put up the tent band. So I need to just establish that at a point, and then to slowly work my way round the yurt. And this is tailor-made now to this particular yurt, so as I keep going, it will allow me to to eventually meet back at the start point. And I'm now ready to fix and secure that on tight. Okay, there we are. There's the tent band on, and it's the same length as the yurt rope, but what it does is it allows for a nice corner to be found so that when the canvas lies over this, these points of contact are very well protected, and the yurt is of course a little bit that much more stronger for it as well. Okay, now I'm going to put on the canvas roof. As you can see, I'm holding the canvas which has been pre-folded. It's important that when you put the yurt away you fold this up correctly, and I will be showing you how to do that as well. So for now, know that I have the canvas folded ready, and I can lift it onto one of the poles carefully and then start to distribute the weight across the yurt and come back to the other side and distribute the weight of the canvas across the yurt. Start to unravel and unfold as much as I can by my hands. Like so. And I'm now going to use the final pole, which comes with a pop-up yurt, and I call it the push pole for roof assembly, which allows me to continue to unfold the ceiling canvas, the roof canvas, this is a new canvas, so it's very stiff, and of course with age the material will become soft and more malleable. But here you can see that I'm steadily and slowly unfolding half of the roof. Comes with this super long pole. You find the upside and you can feed the yurt over to find it lands nice and over the pole. I'm now going to walk into the yurt and assist the unfold a little part. It is truly ready to be unfolded. There we are. And now I can continue. And here we are now. You can see end inside appears strips easily into a final finished form. I can now work with my hands head height and walk around, settling the roof canvas. Over the tent band, working my way around, until it starts to really fit nice. And there a covered yurt. Okay, the next stage now then, I'm going to put on the wall canvas. As you can see, it has hooks fitted to its top half, ready to be received by a cable which is stitched into the canvas underneath the first flap. There's two, so that the canvas is waterproof, connected in there and sheltered both front and back for wind protection. So, I look at the door and I see that that's the end of its flap. So I start here at the doorpost, which is indicated by this cable tie, and put on the first clip and get it roughly in situation. I can now, with the rest of the canvas, walk round, trying my best to keep the canvas off the dirty floor, especially useful in muddy situations. And I come all the way around, find the equivalent location here, and temporarily fix it up onto that inner thread like such. I'm now in a position where I can go back to my start and I can finish the wall off properly by checking my fit and then delivering each hook up into its receiving cable, keeping the tension up as I go so that there's a smooth wall created around the outside of the yurt. And finally coming into being, ready for the door closure area, which for now we will temporarily fix, ready for the second half. Okay, now we've got the walls in place, we've got the roof on obviously, and the final piece of canvas is called the top knot, or you might call it the star canvas. And basically this is the final seal of weather, because you've got a hole up there at the moment, and you can use this in rainy climate, and you can use this obviously overnight, but you might indeed want to take it off during a nice sunny day and allow full ventilation to occur. So it is important that it's up there. It is the final piece, but it's optional depending upon the weather. Now this is best done with two people, and so for now I will just suffice to say that we plant this directly over the yurt and pull down using these cords, which we take to our main tent pegs and we drive them into the ground, thus giving the yurt total security from the weather. So this heavy piece of canvas then has a 6-pointed star and 6 points of contact all around the yurt, which you peg out or tie off to the most appropriate fixtures for use. Okay, so now I've got the star canvas in situ. You can see that each point of the 6-pointed star comes down to the edge of the canvas, and then that allows you then to peg this into the ground here. Now the important thing to realise is that you don't want to obstruct your door area, so you must make sure that the points of the star allow you to still enter the door between the guy ropes. Now the guy rope toggles are like any toggle provided on any tent. It's just here they're a little bit larger than we normally see. They're made out of hardwood. It's actually, I think it's mahogany from an old, lovely old piece of wood that was discovered. So waste not, and we've turned it into these lovely little wooden toggles. And of course the principle of this is that when the peg is pegged down to the ground like such, my foot being the peg in this instance. You toggle up and tighten up, and that's as simple as that. So there, the toggle holds tension. This type of toggle needs to be periodically checked, and indeed if it was extremely windy you might want to tie off something to keep it intact. If it's a super windy day or breezy enough for you to want to keep the mud flap down and keep the yurt peg down to stop movement or to, the rattling of the canvas, so you want a bit more solidity due to the weather, then you can just add on very quickly this little attachment here. It's very straightforward. I'm just going to thread that through there and fold that through there, pull it tight and peg it in to the ground at the central point there, and peg it in to the ground like such, and there you have a stay. When not in use, of course, and when you're folding up the canvas, it's a good idea to take these out, as it is all the guy ropes, and the fold occurs then without any obstructions or attachments that might get tangled up. So these are here. There are 4 of them. The yurt comes fitted with 4 ties of some description. In this instance, they're an elasticated short reach guy rope that just goes from here straight to the ground with a ground peg for super security. I'm now going to show you how to close the doors. It's very straightforward. I'm going to do that from inside the yurt. Sometimes clearly you need to do that outside the yurt, but the principle is very much the same. Okay, in this instance I'm going to take the right hand door as I look at it now and loosen it off from its tie at the top, swing the door closed, and I can simply go up to the cord, keeping the door closed tight, to the second hook, and implant that one deep into there against the Velcro at the opposite side. Do the same this side. Get the hooks up onto the cord. Line up the Velcro to close the door. Such. Tie the door off. And there you can see we are completely sealed in against all weather. Going up, there are 24 roof poles on this yurt. Tensioned up by the inner rope ring and the outer steel ring with the connecting tension rope, forming the 6-pointed star.